I'm going to make sure we're recording properly.
Where am I looking to? Where's the camera?
I think we'll look at each other.
I feel like the camera's over here. So
the camera's right down there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's good. It's looking good. Okay, so I'm going to assume everything's going well. So I'm Noah Goldfarb. I'm here with Fire and Spark. And today we're at DigiMarCon in Boston, and I'm speaking with Zach.
How's it going, Noah?
Doing pretty well. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us what you're doing.
Sure. My name is Zachary Konopka. I'm a senior director over at Colera. We're a global CPaaS leader. We're one of only 4 Tier 1 aggregators here in the U.S. for text messaging. We worked in about 185 countries last year, touched over 4 billion devices, and delivered just over 44 billion messages.
Okay. And what sets you apart from the others in your space?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things. One, we're one of only a handful of companies that are actually hooked into the telecom providers, the AT&Ts, the T-Mobiles, and the Verizon. So organizations that work with us aren't paying additional margins to get their messaging delivered.
Okay.
The other benefit there is really the level of connectivity and deliverability. The closer you are to those telecom providers, the more likely you're going to get the sort of campaigns you want in terms of deliverability. So the other piece of that, we operate campaign registry. So anyone who's pushing out messages like from a 10-digit long code, the ones that kind of look like your phone number, they have to register all of those campaigns. And so we're operating that as well.
Okay. And when you get started, or when your team gets started with a company, gets them set up on the service, what are some of the most common things you see that companies are doing wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. You know, text messaging is one channel, right? Mm-hmm. How you're marrying those together with your other initiatives, whether it's social media or email, or how you're engaging from a conference perspective, and really having a holistic approach to each channel as a sort of tool in your tool belt is really important, as opposed to, hey, I'm just going to fire out 1 million messages and see what happens. It's sort of like that, throwing something against the wall and see what sticks. So we have a unique situation because with our organization, we provide every one of our clients 3 dedicated resources. So you get a technical program manager, so they support you around anything from creating your account to provisioning numbers, registering numbers, understanding what are challenges that carriers, the telecom carriers, are looking for and how to overcome those. We have our solutions engineers, so they make you aware of all the feature sets of our product line. And then we have a dedicated account director, which supports anything from a financial or billing perspective. So depending on what part of your business is interacting with us, whether it's your finance team or whether it's your campaign building management team, then we have someone dedicated to support that.
Okay. And I remember, I'm going to make up a number, 3 or 4 years ago, coming to conferences like this, and people talking about how text messages, text marketing, next big thing, and it was fresher. I think people were a bit less used to getting text messages like as part of a marketing campaign, just consumers out there. So that was kind of like the future. That's what people were talking about. Now it's a bit more standardized and a bit more commonplace. So do you have any opinion or take on what's next for the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of great solutions. And again, there's not going to be a catch-all that's going to solve your problems. But I think from our perspective, you're seeing things like WhatsApp explode now. Obviously, that was outside the U.S. That's the biggest messaging solution that people use, and so we're seeing a greater adoption of that here in the U.S. The other piece of it is looking at things like your WebRTC video. So being able to go from mobile messaging right into video without any downloads or software. You're seeing a lot of this in telehealth or in retail when someone wants to see some sort of high-end product, for example, with a customer service representative, or even things like recruiting, where you may be on a job site and you're engaging with someone on the chat, and their ability to capture you in that moment is really makes a difference between keeping you engaged down the road.
So it's not only, I mean, how much of what you do or how much of the use cases that your customers are looking for comes down to lead generation or closing a sale or getting that person to convert, rather than what you're talking about, which is retention or customer satisfaction?
Yeah, I mean, so it's again, it's sort of one piece of the pie. So there's a lot of automation that goes on in terms of an organization who has a healthy omni-channel approach, right? So you may start off and see an organization pushing out emails, and there's no response rate within 24 to 48 hours. They may have it automated in their CRM or whatever system they're using to then push out a text message, right? And so part of it is going to be lead generation. Part of it is going to be retention. The other side of our business, which we do a lot of is really around the one-time passwords and two-factor authentication. So
Yeah.
if you've ever gotten a one-time password from American Express or Capital One to get into your account, that's us.
Yeah.
So there's sort of transactional messaging, and then there's marketing messaging, and so there's our business is growing in both fronts quite a bit.
Okay. And one of my last, I think, couple questions would be how, I mean, I would imagine that the text message fatigue is becoming a thing, right?
Yeah.
So how do you recommend that customers or clients battle text message fatigue?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's being mindful of the content first and foremost. Make it appealing, make it something that people want to read. I mean, certainly promotional codes are valuable, but what other sort of value add are you able to provide? Is it a new line of products or solutions? Is it some event or festival that you may be supporting? How can you engage in people in the sort of way in which they're living every day and connecting to the interests that they already have? Because, funny enough, we do a ton of messaging in the political space, for example, but I've never heard anyone say, "Oh man, I can't wait to get another message from a politician."
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the last question I have is, what are you looking to get out of being here today or being at this conference?
I mean, DigiMarCon is an excellent opportunity to network with people that have very similar interests who are leveraging sort of solutions or products or consulting the sort of brands that we want to work with that would leverage our solution. So for me, this is really about understanding sort of content from other subject matter experts, but also really the networking piece and creating an opportunity to drive some new business with some of the other organizations that are here.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being with us today, Zach. It's nice to meet you.
Appreciate it. No, I really
Enjoy the rest
enjoyed
of your
it.
time
Thank you.
here.
Yeah.